All right, so we've been talking about this Haitian thing, the Haitian immigrants in Ohio a lot, okay? A lot in the last few days. And I think we got played, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Because if you want to distract people from the big play, the big scam, you show them something else, and you show them something that you can kind of go, oh, look at, hey, listen to these crazy people talking about pets, you know? Listen to these crazies, right? Like to us, it's of course, it's more of the same. Them, you know, it's like, I've seen a video of an arrest on a woman who stole and ate a cat. Okay. So if you're telling me they're not eating their pets, I disagree. You know, I've seen the videos and you're just gaslighting us. However, if you think that there are no smart people on that other side that can be playing a multi-level chess game where we get tricked, okay, I think we got tricked on this one, and there is a way bigger scandal that was right in front of our faces the whole time looking at this Haitian, this thing. It's like, I am embarrassed that I missed it. Okay. I'm embarrassed that I missed it. I think they set Trump up with that, with the pet story. I think the Democrats are the ones that put that out right in front of the debate, all the stuff about the pets and all of that stuff. It's not that it's not true. Okay. It's not that like that's not happening, but I think the flood of information about that, I think the Democrats did that on purpose in order to set Trump up to talk about it on the debate stage as a plan so they could create a little TikTok meme of like, oh my God, look at this crazy, look at him, he's crazy. He's crazy talking about them eating pets, okay? Kamala's got her pre, rehearsed. Oh, look at this guy. When in reality, one of the biggest political scandals in the history of this country was right under our nose in Ohio in the same story. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about right now, okay? So I want to let's just look at this. This is a brand new video about this. I haven't even watched this yet. It's on Fox News. I know, I know, like lefties like Fox News, but whatever. Let's see if you can find something in this story that is not true. We're going to watch this, and then I'm going to tell you what the real political scandal is, because it is, in my opinion, like I said, the biggest political scandal that I've seen like ever. Okay, so let's watch this really quick, and then we're going to go into that.
Biden-Harris House is in full focus 54 days from the election. A surge of migrants is straining resources in big cities and small. You know this. It's all across the nation. Yeah. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announcing a $2.5 million aid package for Springfield as the city deals with the surge of migrants from Haiti. And we're hearing from victims of violent crimes allegedly committed by migrants.
So Fox 10 coverage, Brooke Taylor works the story in Houston with disturbing details surrounding the murder of that 12-year-old girl. First, though, Christina Coleman is live in Springfield, Ohio. That's Clark County, to the west of Columbus.
I didn't even know about this story, by the way. So my daughter's 12. Okay. Now, when we talk about why this actually happened, if my daughter ended up dead as a result of what we're going
to the northeast of Dayton, Ohio. What you find out? Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bill. Over the last 4 years, at least 15,000 Haitians have come here to the small city, Springfield, Ohio, and it has rapidly and dramatically increased the population here and stretched resources thin. Many Haitians came here under the temporary protected status program after escaping violence and unrest in their country. They heard there was cheap housing and lots of jobs here. Now Springfield is in serious need of more school resources, translation services, and even driver education classes. Ohio's governor also says many Haitians have arrived here badly in need of medical services due to a severe shortage of health care in their home country.
What that also means.
Okay, so again, now we're actually talking about like actual common sense issues versus, hey, like, let's talk about the pets. Okay, so again, we're starting with the debate. Because the debate ultimately represents the conversation in the country. Okay, so they're like, hey, let's try to derail this conversation that we're having about immigration and our hand in it, because it's indefensible, to middle ground voters. When you have real numbers of the number of immigrants that they have been responsible for taking in and placing, and this is nothing against immigrants who want to come to the United States, okay? But when you, as an administration, have been in charge of, 20,000 in one town. Do you know how many people 20,000 people is? Have you ever gone to obviously we've talked about this. This is a UFC channel original, or combat sports channel. I go to UFC events all the time where there are 20,000 people in a stadium. 20,000 like Haitians and are just put in Springfield, Ohio? Do you understand how the chaos getting in and out of a stadium like that? It's absolute chaos. And if you put that, there's a reason why you don't have 20,000 person stadiums in tiny little towns like that. There's no infrastructure for those people. Okay? There is no infrastructure for that many people. That's why those huge stadiums are in Dallas and Austin and San Francisco and New York and any other city that you could think of. That's why they're there. There's no infrastructure for that amount of people. And to just take them all and put them in a town like that is insanity. It's the most predictable problem you're going to have. And again, scandal is not this. We're going to get to the scandal, I promise. Let's continue.
Means is that the number of these individuals, we don't know, but the number of these individuals who are not vaccinated from things that we take for granted in this country.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Is a high number and very, very significant. These facts have a great potential for community health challenges.
Hey, let me translate that for you guys. Let me translate that little number for you guys. Hey, listen, they're here, they're here, they're queer, and they're not going anywhere. I'm just kidding. But hey, we're here. And, since they are here, guys, there are a lot of things that they have not gotten the shots for. And let's be honest, that puts all of us at risk. And so I think that the government needs to pony up to get all of them the shots. And how many people were we talking about? They're all, well, in this town it's 20,000, but nationwide it's more like 1 million. You're all, how much money will Pfizer make on that? They're like, what? I have no idea. I hadn't even thought about that. You're all, you hadn't thought about that? No, I hadn't even thought about that. You had not thought about that. You're telling me that of all of the issues of having 20,000 new migrant, people living in your city, the one thing that came top of mind was, hey, have these guys been inoculated for the, all these things? Yeah, no, I haven't thought about any kind of, profits for pharmaceuticals. Of course I haven't thought about that. I'm talking about, stress on the economy, whatever, but also let's make sure that the government covers some shots for them, because that's definitely, I'm not corrupt. Also not the scandal.
Area residents packed a city commission meeting on Tuesday to voice their frustration over the situation. Also yesterday, Ohio State Highway Patrol dispatched more law enforcement to this area to help with traffic problems because some Haitians are unfamiliar with U.S. traffic laws. That issue got a ton of attention after an unlicensed Haitian driver hit a school bus in August of 2023, injuring about 24 children and killing a young boy, 11-year-old Aiden Clark. On Tuesday, Aiden's father begged the public to not use his son's death as a talking point over immigration.
Last thing that we need is to have the worst day of our lives violently and constantly shoved in our faces.
I actually respect this. That's why I haven't talked about this particular issue, because this is one of those ones like, I'm actually not even going to show this. I'm going to confirm what he said, which is, okay, this is a traffic accident. Okay, at the end of the day, it's a traffic accident. The fact that it was an illegal immigrant that was driving the car, yes, it looks bad, but I don't know anything about this guy. Okay, regular folks make a mistake texting and they accidentally crash into, like, that's a thing that happens that does not represent something that I need to throw a bunch of negative energy in the direction of, because I don't know enough about it. Okay, I just don't know enough. Hopefully what you're hearing from me is like, oh, okay, this should be building credibility, that like I don't just harp on things if I don't feel confident that I have the information to harp on a thing. And like the bus incident, if I found out that this guy had we looked into his driving record in Haiti, and this guy has been pulled over drunk 150 times, or this guy had a bunch of problems. But if he's just some regular guy, that was like texting and driving in his sake, I mean, it's obviously a completely tragic thing, but it doesn't necessarily represent a much larger problem that we need to talk about. Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so when we go over here, right, and we look at, can you guys see the search? Okay, you can't see the search. Good. I was using that for the thumbnail. It's like, oh, that's not going to look very objective if you guys could see what I searched. But what I was looking about, was reading about as it relates to George Soros is his involvement in this, this large scale immigration thing. Okay. So there's every time you end up talking about these migrant caravans or, these large amounts of people who are coming into the country, and you're like, what is going on? Everyone brings it back to Soros, okay? It's always like, George Soros is doing this, George Soros is doing this. I've heard all of these, these theories about that he does this to weaken a society so that he can implement more control, potentially collapse the the currency that he trades on. And obviously we know that that is something that he's done overseas. I have no idea if that's what's going on here, but here's the deal. This is where we're going to get to. This is where we're going to get to what I believe is the big thing, the big scandal that everybody missed in the debate. Okay. So we get distracted with pets, right? We get distracted with like, they're eating the pets. Okay. Well, think for a second, like take away sensationalism and think about what have we been saying all along is the purpose of all of this illegal immigration, right? Okay. So like there's like there's the most extreme viewpoint, which is they are trying to flood these kind of like harmonious societies that have already got a way of doing things. Let's just say, like, just take race out of it because I hate that conversation. A culturally homogenous group in a country, whether it's the United States or England or any of these other places, and you flood it with a bunch of people who come from different places that do not share the culture, and it ends up breaking down the strength of the overall country and the culture. Okay, that's basically something that just is not arguable. That is what happens if you take a bunch of people who live different, whatever. And so like the most extreme version is it's being done on purpose to weaken each individual country so they can implement a more globalized control over the entire world. Because if you don't have strong countries, then you can control the world much easier. Okay, like that's like the big high level, theory of what's going on. But the much more believable, or just one that just seems like common sense to me that we completely missed here, is the how do I put this? How many voters do you know who voted for Obama who are now on the side of this guy, this dude right there? You know what I mean? How many people do you know that voted the other way and now are on this side? I can't even count. Okay, when you think about the pandemic and how that played out, you literally took every single small business owner and you turned them into a right-wing person. I mean, it's not like, the right-wing, left-wing, whatever. You crushed their businesses, destroyed their businesses. Do you think any of them are going to vote for Kamala Harris? Okay. If you got put out of business during the pandemic and you are voting for Kamala Harris, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, I'm serious. Like that means that you are allowing the television to influence you on a level where it's like, hey, they destroyed your life, dude. Okay, so 95% of people are not that brainwashed and weird. So if you put them out of business, they are on our side now. So how are you going to replace those voters? Okay, you might be able to pull some mail-in voting, stuff or whatever for a while. And, you just, we're not going to purge these voter records. Oh, there's 1 million dead people on there, whatever. You can pull that for a while. But eventually you're going to need to replace those voters because you've lost them. Okay, how are you going to do that? Import them, right? So the whole entire thing has all been about replacing voters, right? Importing voters that will vote for their side, okay? So think about that for a second. 20,000 Haitians, and where did they put them? Not California. They did put them in New York, though. You want to know what that probably means? Probably means New York is a little bit closer to swinging the other way than they would like to admit. They like to tell everybody, like, hey, there's no reason for you to even come out and vote Republican because it's never going to go your way. Maybe that's not so much the case because they're putting them in New York. This is like a huge indicator of like, what are the real voter demographics? Not one of these states that is never going to go blue. Not one of these states that doesn't have a lot of electoral college votes. They put them in Ohio. 20,000 of them and that's only one town. I don't know where the rest of them are. Okay. They said that they gave 100,000 Haitians TPS, temporary protective status. Where are the other ones? Because I will bet you that if you look into where they are, I will guarantee you they're in swing states. Guaranteed. I will guarantee you they're in swing states. States where if you get enough of them in there and then you give them a path to citizenship, because bottom line, does anyone actually believe that the reason they're doing this is humanitarian? That's really why they're doing this. It's just humanitarian, you guys. Like, we just really care about these people. You care about these people. Oh yeah, it's humanitarian. We really, really care about these people. You're like, okay, well, why don't you go do that? Like, why are we not doing that for Afghanistan? Like, why are we not doing that for Afghanistan? Hey, remember when we pulled out of Afghanistan and all of these young girls who had been growing up in like a free society and had been going to school, and then all of a sudden the Taliban takes over, and now these girls that are like educated, they're 14, 15 years old, they're like, hey, no more school, and you're married to that guy now. And get ready to do whatever he asks, because if you don't, you're going to get beat up. It's like, well, what if he wants to beat me up while he does whatever he wants to me? Oh, that's your life now. That's your life now. Okay, buckle up. That's your life. Well, what if he wants to put it somewhere that it hurts? That's your life, okay? 14-year-old girl, that's your life now, okay? You have no opinions. You don't get to read. You don't get to write. You don't even get to show your face in public. You are going to do whatever we tell you to do or else we'll kill you, you know? So remember all those books you got to read? Remember all those dreams you had? They're fucking over, okay? You are there to service whatever person we just throw you to, or maybe they buy you, okay? Why not them? Why don't you bring them here? You know what I mean? Why don't you bring them here? Because it's all about humanitarian stuff, right? Why don't you give them, $3,000 a month? Okay, I don't believe you can't pretend that this is a humanitarian effort if you have absolutely no consistency whatsoever. So what's it really about? Okay, that. Okay, temporary protected status, and then you heard the guy in the interview I showed in the other video. They're all, "Hey, are you planning to stay here for a long time?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." They're not planning to leave. You think they're going back to Haiti? They're going to be given a path to citizenship. And guess who they're going to vote for when they do? Because guess what else just happened when we did the debate, okay? We put on a national stage that the Republicans and the Trump side thinks that they eat cats, okay? That's what happened. So what actually happened is they went, blah, 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 and we all fell for it. I'm not saying that that's not happening, okay? I'm not saying that like the whole cat thing's not happening. I've seen the video. What I'm saying is they turned it into an issue, and they knew it was an issue that the mainstream media was not going to cover. They knew that they had all kinds of information already ready to come out and just completely debunk it, at least as far as like middle of the road people who don't watch the stuff we do watch. They're like, oh my God, so it's just some crazy conspiracy theory. So they got Trump to talk about it in the debate. He makes himself look like an idiot because, to the people who don't know anything, Kamala's got a pre-prepared laugh in his face clip. And then guess what? Every single immigrant in this country who is here on a temporary protective status, all of them just became dug in Democrat voters forever. And you got 20,000 of them in one fucking city in a swing state. Tell me that's what's not actually going on. Tell me that that's a crazy conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? It's like the most common sense thing in the entire world. That's what's really going on. Okay? Unless you can show me 20,000 Haitians in California somewhere. You know what I mean? Like where, I know that they're bringing a lot to New York also or whatever. But like, why Springfield, Ohio, dude? What is Springfield, Ohio doing aside from just sitting right there? Nice little swing state. You know what I mean? That's my theory, dude. Do with that what you will.